Jonathan Givony and Mike Schmitz of ESPN were at the Quest Multisport in Chicago at the NBA G League Elite Camp. Mike, we got a chance to work out a couple of guys yesterday at the UIC gym. We had Grant Williams, we had Tremont Waters, Nick Claxton stopped by. We had Charles Bassey as well. Talk to me about Grant Williams. What did he show you yesterday? Anything that we're able to learn in that workout format?
His shooting. This is a guy who didn't really shoot many threes early on in his college career. He was more of a back-to-the-basket guy, kind of a bruiser, and he's added that to his game. I mean, he didn't take a ton of threes this year. I think around 32% was his conversion rate, but watching him shoot NBA threes, he shoots an easy ball, he has sound mechanics, good rotation, soft touch, and with his work ethic and intangibles, I think he's a guy who's going to be able to make NBA threes eventually, but even more than that, just talking with him for a few minutes, you realize this is one of the best guys, human beings in the draft in terms of his basketball intellect, in terms of his understanding of who he is. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, right? Guys say, oh, I'm a three, I'm a point guard, this is who I am, coach screwed me, right? And this kid's saying, I understand I'm going to have to play some five. I'm watching PJ Tucker play center in the playoffs. He knows who he is, and that's really what stood out to me. So he's a really impressive prospect and opened my eyes a little bit just spending time with him. Jonathan, anything else with Grant in particular or some of these other guys, Tremont, that kind of stood out to you?
Well, I'll be curious to see where Grant ends up in the draft because a lot of teams have told us that maybe we have him projected a little bit too high. He's in the early 20s. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with that. I mean, this is a guy that he should be a sophomore age-wise. His productivity was one of the highest of any player in the draft. He can pass. We know he can shoot. I thought he showed a lot of flashes to me defensively, both on the perimeter and protecting the rim this year. Okay, he's not ideal size. He's not a phenomenal athlete, but I think people might be overthinking things. Where do you see him ending up in the draft?
Yeah, I could see him going to a smart team. I think anywhere in the 20s is those teams that usually hit on those late first-round picks, guys who need a plug-and-play player who can contribute from day one. And I think that's probably going to be best for him, being able to play off of other guys because he doesn't quite have an elite skill. He checks a lot of boxes. But I think going to a playoff team is going to be impactful for him. And we talk about fit. I think that would be really important. But again, like you said, he's tough, I think, for some teams to get past the lack of size or explosiveness or that he's probably 6'7", 6'8" on a good day. But again, I think once they sit him down and get to know him a little bit better, a smart team is going to take a stab at him, whether it's in the late teens or early 20s. So, we're going to have more guys through these next few days, some big names, some top 10 picks, maybe even some top 5 picks. So I'll be looking forward to that. Anything in particular you're kind of most fired up about these next couple days?
Well, I just enjoy getting a chance to sit down with these guys, getting one-on-one interviews. We probably talked to Grant Williams for 30 minutes between on camera, off camera. That's the highlight of the draft process for me, is getting to know these guys, following them through their journey. A lot of them we've been covering from when they were 15, 16 years old, and so it's just fun. It's covering the draft year after year. You get to enjoy that, and you see how they end up doing. You're watching the playoffs here. Every single one of these guys we covered, so I enjoy it.
No question. So stay tuned with us. We'll be back at UIC tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday. A lot of big names coming through. We've got the G League Elite Camp starting here, so we're going to get back to that, but stay with us and we'll give you some more updates throughout the day.